Listen to me very carefully. You don't have a money problem. Your programming is broken. You've been programmed to stay broke. And until you understand this, you can work harder, you can keep grinding and hustling more, you could read as many books as you want, try 1,000 new strategies, and nothing will change. Because the problem is not out there, it's in here. Most people are living inside a financial identity that was installed into them before they were even aware of it. And they're trying to create wealth with a subconscious mind that's designed to reject it, that does not think wealth is safe. That's like trying to drive a Ferrari with the emergency brake on. It doesn't work. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you were programmed and why programming is so important, why you keep repeating the same results, and how to break that programming permanently. Now, I want you to leverage excellent programming, then you're going to love your programming. If you apply what I'm about to show you, your entire financial life is about to change. But quick favor, if you're serious about growth, hit subscribe right now. I don't make surface level content. I make life-changing content because this is about real transformation. Now let's start here. Nobody is born broke. You have so much richness inside of you. You were hardwired for what I love to call a world-class life, but almost everyone is conditioned to be average. You are not here to be average. The universe does not work on a budget. It is limitless. From the moment you were a child, you were being programmed. Not intentionally, but consistently. You heard things like, money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. Rich people are greedy. You have to work hard for money. And you never questioned it because you were too young to filter it. So what happened? You got stuck. What got stuck? Your programming. Those ideas didn't just stay as thoughts, they became firm beliefs. And those beliefs formed your identity. And your identity always determines your income. Wealth always follows identity, not strategy, not your work ethic, not your education. Always identity. The image you hold of yourself in the deepest part of your subconscious mind, that is what is controlling your results. Now take a look at your results. What are they telling you? Are they telling you you are programmed for success, or are they telling you you're programmed for failure? You know, whenever I'm in my seminars, one of the things I tell everybody in the audience, there's never been an easier time to win, and there's never been an easier time to lose. Why? Because there's so many victims. You know, the people who are winning, they don't try to win, they're programmed to win. And the people that are losing, they're not trying to lose, but they keep sabotaging themselves. No one wakes up and says, you know what? Today's a great day to sabotage the hell out of myself. It's not what happens. The program takes over. 95% of our day is run by a program. And for most people, their program, that image was built by experiences they didn't choose, in environments they didn't design, by people who were themselves operating from an old, outdated programming, but they didn't know it. This is not to blame anyone. This is to give you understanding and clarity. When I said you are hardwired for immense success, I want that to be a part of your programming. You're a spiritual being living in a physical body. The highest form of your potential is the spiritual side. The lowest form is the physical side. Now, how do we reprogram ourselves? With spiritual seeds. What are spiritual seeds? They're ideas. You get to give your programming whatever you want. You give your subconscious direction. It has no ability to reject it. It only will accept what you give it. But you can't change what you don't understand. So we've got to audit yourself. We've got to audit your thinking. We've got to audit your actions. Like, take a look at yesterday. What were your wealth actions that you took yesterday? What were the wealthy words that you spoke yesterday? What are the non-productive actions you took yesterday? We want to eliminate those. Because guess what? If we don't eliminate it, you're going to do it tomorrow. You're going to do it next week. You're going to do it next month. And by the end of the year, you're going to be very frustrated. But here's where it gets super real. Most people think they need better strategies. They need more motivation. They need more discipline. That's not it. The real problem is this. You are loyal to an identity that you've outgrown that you don't want. But you're so addicted to your old self, even though that identity is keeping you broke. Let that sink in. Because your subconscious mind has one job, to keep you consistent with who you believe you are. So when you're trying to make more money, but your identity says money is scary, what if it doesn't keep showing up in my life? This isn't who I am. You start procrastinating. You start overthinking. And every time you overthink, you kill your dreams. You self-sabotage. You're literally doing it based on your program. You miss opportunities. You undercharge. You stay comfortable. And then what happens? Nothing changes. So you're thinking the same thoughts, having the same feelings, taking the same actions day to day that are not what you want the most. It's not because you're not smart enough. It's because your programming is stronger than your goals. Your programming has been on years of repetition. You set the goal before, you felt the motivation before, you had the plan before, and something happens. A few days in, a week in, you start drifting back to your old self. 6 weeks in, it didn't work for me. It's not a willpower problem. We have to understand we need want power, not willpower. We have to ask ourselves, how do we really want to live? Ask yourself right now, how do you really want to live? There's got to be more to life than just settling, right? There is. I used to settle. I used to be comfortable. And my life was very mundane. I was very dissatisfied. I was unhappy. But when I decided who I was going to be and how I was going to live, I activated my want power. You have a want inside of you right now that's dying to come out. Your job is to let that out. But you've got to really decide, how am I going to live? Not based on how I've lived up to this point, but what if I went all in? What if I changed my programming and I let my want drive every decision? Well, you're going to change your life. But why don't most people do that? Because you're running a thermostat that can't think like this. You start getting better results, your results spike, and then you sabotage yourself. You come right back down to your internal setting. Your internal setting puts you right back to the number that feels safe. Not the number you want, but the number that feels safe. The thermostat always wins until you change the setting. If you're starting to see yourself in this, drop a comment. I am ready. And when I say I am ready, I mean I am ready to crush the rest of the year. I'm ready to crush today because you are giving your subconscious a command. Your words matter. Your words matter in a big way. They're directing your body. Change is always linguistic. Awareness is where this all begins. My mentor, Bob Proctor, used to always tell me, he said, Arash, you will never outperform your awareness. And I locked in. I locked in on changing my programming. As I changed my programming, my awareness changed. That's why mentorship matters. That's why making the next step out of your comfort zone matters. That's where you get awareness. You're going to learn so much more from your losses than your wins. And here's the truth that most people will never tell you. Poverty is not a lack of money. It's a conditioned identity. Poverty is not a badge of honor. It's disrespectful to your potential. God has gifted us so much potential, and us not using it is a sign of disrespect. You don't understand who you are. Remember when I said you're a spiritual being? The highest form of your potential is spiritual. We've got to tap into that spiritual side. And wealth, what do you think wealth is? It's a spiritual idea. It's operating on a higher spiritual plane. That's why only a few % of people are living abundantly. Wealth is never something you get, it's something you design. It comes from intentionality. Intentionality is not sexy, but wealth is so freeing. You're going to be able to enjoy life like you've never enjoyed it before and impact people by your example. Wealth is your birthright. Freedom is your birthright. But you only gain it by paying the price. That price is transformation. That price is kicking your old self's ass. Because I will tell you, there's going to be a fight when you're changing your programming from your old self and your future self. But if you keep letting your want drive you, that want power, and you make your want, your goal, a love story, wealth is naturally something that is going to chase you down, and it's your natural baseline. Wealthy people don't think like broke people. They don't decide like broke people. They don't act like broke people. I want you to take a look at how you make decisions. It is going to tell you if you're making decisions from a broke identity or from a wealth identity, and nothing changes your identities faster than decisions. But wealthy individuals, a wealth consciousness, makes decisions based on the future they're creating, not past experience, not from failures, But a broke mindset reacts to life. They're always playing their life not to lose. They're blaming everybody. You've got to understand this. A wealth identity understands this deeply. I'm the only problem I'm ever going to have, and I'm the only solution. That's called extreme ownership. A wealthy mindset creates life. A poverty mindset is waiting for life to happen. You've got to start acting before you're ready. Most people are waiting. You don't wait. You go. You adjust. You learn. And you transform. But most people are waiting for the right time. There's never going to be a right time. You're never going to know if something's going to work until you do it. Go out and do it. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for certainty, because certainty only happens when you move. And stop waiting for permission. Give yourself an order. I am going to create the best year of my life. I'm going to create the best day of my life. I'm going to create the best month of my life. The wealthy don't wait. They move. And the universe loves speed. And they move, then they get ready. Because readiness is a decision. You're never going to be ready for a thing until you go out and do it. Emerson said that. And feelings always follow action. Action is your best friend. Action you get rewarded by. Action is the number one most important foundation we create every day. But I don't just want you to take any action. This is how you're going to change your programming. You take action with swagger. You take action with inspiration, where you're letting your intuition guide you, not the other way around. Now let's get into what actually changes the game, changes everything. If you want to break the programming, you don't start with money. You start with how do I want to live? You start with who do I want to become? You start with growth. That's identity. Step one, awareness. You have to see the program before you can change it. What does that mean? I want you to audit your thinking. Not just your thinking audibly, but I want you to audit how you're thinking silently. If you want to know how your thinking is, follow your words. That's an audit. Ask yourself, what do I actually believe about money? Do I believe it's hard to create? Do I believe it's easy? Be honest with yourself. How do you feel when your income starts rising? Do you start wondering, God, I hope this keeps happening, and you start planning doubt? Every time you have doubt, this is the formula. I'm not interested in that conversation. And every time you beat doubt, doubt is going to show up less and less in your life. And then what story am I living that I didn't choose? Am I living from poverty yet I want abundance? Why am I keep telling myself I'm not strong enough? You have so much strength inside of you. Strength is not your problem. Courage is. And to achieve a great life, to achieve great goals, we have to have courage and confidence. Because here's the thing about awareness. You can't change what you refuse to see. Step two, decision. Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich says, nothing happens until you decide. Decision is where everything moves. And until you decide who you're going to be and who you're not going to be, you're never going to change the program. That's where most people fail. They try to grind. They try to keep operating from new strategy after new strategy without changing who they are. They wish things were different. Like Jim Rohn used to say, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. They hope things will change. No, you will change. You've got to start speaking it into existence. Your words matter. I want you to ask yourself and train your central nervous system. How do you feel? Amazing. How do you feel? Amazing. How do you feel? Amazing. Well, you're recalibrating yourself to what your subconscious responds to, which is emotion and feeling. You want a different result, but you never decide. What is that costing you? How many millions of dollars over your lifetime has that cost you because you've never decided? Because you've never decided to truly bet on yourself. No one is going to come here to rescue you. Until you bet on you, the universe isn't going to bet on you. Until you bet on you, the opportunities are not going to bet on you. Success is built on decisions. What type of decisions are you making? I want you to draw a line in the sand that the old me of how I made decisions is done. And the formula is this. If it's going to grow me, it's a hard yes. If it's going to contract me, it's a hard no. Not someday, but we decide fast. Remember what I said earlier. The universe loves speed. In step 3, every day I'm reprogramming myself. I want to keep killing off my old self thousands of times this year, and I want you to do it. This is daily. It's not sexy, but it's what is creating results. You will not change your results no matter how hard you work until you change the programming. Not once, not when you feel like it, every single day. That is the standard. I am getting 1% better, and define your 1%. That's how you install the new identity. Here is the new identity and how I want you to talk to yourself. I am the type of person who creates wealth in avalanches of abundance. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly because of who I am. I execute at a high level regardless of how I feel. And you don't just say it, you embody it. You're convicted in it. Now you're training your belief system. Beliefs create identity, identity creates results. And I want you to feel it because emotions installs belief. And step 4 is action. This is where everything locks in. Your subconscious mind is not responding to what you want. It responds to who you are. It responds to what you do. You take action with swagger. You take action your old self would never take. You make the call. You raise the standard even if you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Because here's the truth. We can't control the outside world. We can control our perception of how the outside world is going to look. You invest in yourself. You invest in mentorship. You get in my circle. You get me to move you like you've never been moved before. Because my superpower is getting people results. Why? Because I've had the best mentors in the world. You move when it's uncomfortable. You charge what you actually want to charge and what you're worth. Every time you act, you cast a vote. This is the new me. And your confidence changes. Your courage changes. Your identity changes. And your results change. Now understand, discipline is the engine of wealth. Discipline is faith made visible. Now let me give you the shift in one sentence. And I want you to think about this. You don't get rich by trying harder. You get rich by becoming someone different. And becoming someone different requires exactly 2 things: decision and action. Decision without action is delusion. Decision is burning the bridge. I'm going all in no matter what. And I am killing off who I used to be no matter what. And action is doing it now. You do it before you're ready. You don't wait for a perfect opportunity. You make the opportunity perfect. Not when you're comfortable, especially when you're uncomfortable, because that's what the universe rewards. It rewards commitment. Commitment is not when we're ready. It's we're acting way before we're ready, because clarity comes from action. You never are going to think your way into a new identity. You always act your way into it. Decision without action is delusion. It's fantasy. Action without decision is burnout. It's exhausting. But decision followed by action, that is the wealth formula. You were programmed over the course of your life, but did you create that program? And how do you want to live? Match your programming with exactly how you want to live. But understand this, you're not your old self. You're not your childhood. You're not your failures. You are the programmer now. Now, what you've watched in this video, you can never unsee. Now I want you to watch it every day for the next 30 days. Because tomorrow when you watch this, you know what's going to happen? You're going to pick up something you didn't pick up. The next day after, you're going to pick up something new. It's the repetition over and over and over again that creates belief that is going to change the program. Remember, you're the programmer now. Make the decision, take the action, bet on yourself, and watch everything change. Your best is inside of you. And I'm telling you, you haven't even seen the best version of you. Now, what is going through your mind? What if I told you there's another version of you right now that can do 10 times better? Are you buying into what I'm selling? Are you buying into that? Because I'm telling you, there's somebody today that's deciding to change their life. Why not you? Live from my philosophy when I was failing and really recalibrating my programming. I didn't believe in myself yet, but I kept telling myself, if one person can do it, I can do it. Why not me? If one person can create great wealth, I can create great wealth. Well, I made that part of my programming, and guess what? Now I'm living a life of freedom, and I'm nothing special. If I can do it, you can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. If this hit you, subscribe. You're not going to want to miss any of my videos because I come with fire because I care about this. I've been on both sides. I've been on the failure side. I've been on the plateau side. I've been on the struggle bus, and I've been on the freedom. I've been on wealth. And I will tell you, I'm going to show you how to create a life that most people would imagine that would die for. But I put content like this out every single week. No fluff, real work, real transformation. Just the real work that changes your identity and your results. Now, before you go in the comments, write this. I am breaking through now. I am breaking through now. Speak it into existence. Because the moment you declare it, everything starts to shift. Remember, your words matter. Your body follows your language. If you want to go deeper, go grab my free Millionaire Playbook. The link is in the description.